Hey everybody, this is Rice Bonds, Montana to Young, back here with you again, doing a quick video in the middle of the night. Had a couple of cards come in through the course of the week that I just haven't been able to get into. Found some time here in the middle of the night to open these packages. Figured I would show off some of these cards. I've had so many cards coming in recently that I think I know what some of these cards are, but on the other hand, um, I've had so many come in that I'm not 100% sure. This card actually is an interesting one. This is the last of the 1996 through 2000 Topps Chrome refractors that I didn't have. I mentioned before in another video, I think, that this is the last one remaining. There's been a couple that have sold on eBay. These are common refractors, weren't hard to find. They're harder to find in amazing condition. And I did note that when I saw this card put up on the Facebook group by Richard, a fervent high end collector of a lot of awesome players, but I think I can't remember who his primary players are. I think Griffey, Bonds, A Rod are included amongst his favorite players to collect. But he recently hit a lot of Manny and A Rod cards of the highest end, and I think he wanted to recoup some of the money, so he sold off some of his lower end stuff, and this was put up there. And I thought, you know what, it's hard to find these well centered. It's pretty darned well centered. It's hard to find these without a refractor line or some scratching in the front. Not a big fan of the BGS case, obviously, but I think this is cool that this came from a PWCC sale in February. I don't really know what I don't really know how to check what that is, and I kind of want to look under this label because I want to know what the subgrades are. But I think it's possible that there are no subgrades here to begin with. I wish I could sort of see past the label, but since I don't buy anything from PWCC anymore, I don't really know what their whole process is, and it's kind of cool to have this back there. I just wonder if it is. Man, is this something that comes off? Like, does PWCC just leave this on? Is it one of those stickers that just like leaves a residue forever? Okay, so it didn't leave a residue for the most part, but there are no subgrades, so I don't know why this card got a 9. The corners look fine. Back centering looks fine. Front centering looks downright good. I fear that maybe the card got dinged for some surface issue. Who knows? Still a beautiful card. Cool pose. And the last of the early Chrome Basic refractors that I got in. So thanks to Richard for this one. Was glad to have another shot at it. Some of these cards have gotten obscenely expensive for how easy they are to actually find relative to some of the other more expensive cards out there that are actually legit rare. But glad to have that in the collection for sure. That'll go nicely with the 1996, the 1997, which is, I believe, my favorite. And then you have the 98, and then the 99, and then 2000. That completes the early Chrome run for me. Okay, so up next, some pretty nice cards. At least one of these is a pretty nice card. Let's see if I can get it out of the packaging here. Ooh, yeah, look at this. Like, see, sometimes I put up a backdrop. I knew that this card was going to be here today, so I put that up there on purpose, but I've just had a whole bunch of cards out that I haven't archived yet. Figured why not put some SGC slabs up, and lo and behold, it actually is consistent with this card that came in. I kind of splurged a little bit on this one. It's the 1997 Donruss Signature Series Millennium Marks. The idea being, the millennia is supposed to have 1,000 years, and so there's supposed to be 1,000 copies of this card. This card is supposed to be out of 1,000, but some players ended up signing as few as 400, and Bonds was one of those players. So this is actually incorrect. It would be 198 out of 400. There's a big difference between a card out of 400 versus 1,000. The card looked so clean to me. This was graded by a major eBay store that apparently was sold the entire set, and the owner went ahead and graded most of the cards. And the fact that I got a 10 grade made me feel good about the ink, and the ink is really, it's spectacular. And the fact that the card itself, these are pretty condition sensitive. You know, the first released licensed autographs of a lot of these major players, like Bonds. It's hard to find them in good condition. This is as good as I could ever hope for or imagine for. The gloss looks packed fresh. I have the Century Marks, which is out of 100. The backdrop there is blue. Centering is always an interesting topic to me, just because it's so high on the list of a lot of high-end collectors, sort of things that they look at. But here, the Millennium Marks is so off-center that to the naked eye, you can't even really tell whether this card is properly centered or not. You'd have to know that. Really, you're supposed to be measuring from the end of that calligraphy swash and to the beginning of the M to see if it is well centered, and it is. So I am tired. Excuse me, but this is a very cool autograph to have. Hope you guys can see the gloss on that auto. It looks like it was signed yesterday. Super happy to get that one in. We'll definitely be delighted to add that to the list of autographs that have come in recently. I'm trying to be careful here because my address appears on the face of this box, and I'd like to be able to put up this video without having to make the edit in YouTube to block it out. But this is the last card to share with you guys for the day. The last card that I haven't opened yet. Oh boy, this thing smells super, super smoky. Like whoever owned this card, it's like a chain smoker. Packs and packs a day. So, man, this is brutal. How stinky this card is. I'm gonna have to let it sit out for a while and hopefully let the strong smell of old cigarettes dissipate. Yeah, oof, God, I can't imagine what kind of havoc smoke reeks on a card like this, but I got this card for a really, really fair price. I think the sale ended at a strange time of night in the middle of the week. So, yeah, I mean, 520 examples of this card isn't exactly scarce, but this is a cool pose. I love SB Authentic. Pay no attention to the BCC G10. It usually means absolutely nothing. Just from an eyeball test through the scratched up case, which I'll have to buff out or crack open. I want to be able to see what this card looks like underneath because it looks very, very nice. I'm happy to have gotten it. I wish it had the certificate of authenticity that usually accompanies these cards. That Upper Deck puts a symbol, a serial number on a sticker on the back of a lot of these cards, so that to reduce the chances of fraud. But while I don't have that certificate of authenticity, this card is, for all I know and through all my research, a legitimate card and very cool. I'd like to get more of these buybacks of Bonds. They often pick good pictures, and if they did a good job signing the card, then that's really the one thing you need to happen. So I would love to crack this thing out. I don't like BCCG. Most people don't. And I want to find out how the card looks underneath because it looks great. And I'm happy to then add, I guess, 2 Barry Bonds autos in the same week. And also the Chrome card that I didn't have from my collection. Okay, well, until next time, guys.